Alright, hey guys, and welcome to another movie review. Today I've got Men in Black International. So, as I said, I just got back and had to catch up with a few films. And yeah, so I took my time and went to go and check out this film. And I really went in with a very low expectation and an open mind because of how different the critics score is compared to the audience score of recent times. And I mean this in both Rotten Tomatoes and IMDb because we have this meta score, right, from Metacritic as well. So I went through all the scores and the reviews, and it's very mixed to a point where I can't help but pull out a controversy to say that Rotten Tomatoes is going to downvote any film that is not made by Disney. And it's going to be this constant battle between the audience and the critics. I know, and possibly paid critics or even paid audience for a while now. And this is definitely the year of mixed reviews because a trash film like Endgame, Avengers Endgame, absolute crap of a film that didn't even understand its own time travel theory, got good reviews, good ratings. And decent films, like Godzilla, got bad, absolutely trash ratings. And like Alita, Battle Angel didn't get that good ratings. What was the other one? I mean, there are several to look at, but nonetheless, it's been a very mixed year of reviews. Us. Us was another film that had really like ridiculously 10 out of 10 reviews. But to be honest, I feel that uh, Get Out, yeah, Get Out was a better film than Us by quite a bit. And even the movie Don't Breathe, I think, was slightly better because Us was like besides the concept itself, Us was not really scary at all for me. It's just someone talking in a funny voice throughout the film. Literally, that was it. Everything else was kind of like a page from what's that? What's that film where you can kill everyone for 24 hours? The Purge, right? Yeah, I think The Purge was kind of in a better concept. But regardless, today is not about that. Today is about Men in Black International, and I feel that the reviews just didn't do it justice. So, if this is your first time here, well, welcome, 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 welcome. And this is a spoiler review, spoiler alert. If you don't like spoilers, get out right now. So, I'm just going to jump right into it. I'm not going to drag on too long with the plot because let me tell you, the plot of this film is decent. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. So I'm going to give you an overall plot summary, all right? So this story is about Tessa Thompson, the main character who plays Agent M. When she was a kid, she had an encounter with a little baby alien where it escaped into her house, and the men in black will come to investigate this, and they will memory wipe her parents. They'll flash her parents, but they won't get to flash her because she was a kid and they thought that she was just sleeping in her room. And then the little baby alien escapes. This is the start of the film. So Tessa Thompson basically grows up to be this very independent and strong woman who is taking part-time jobs but at the same time always learning and constantly improving herself because she wants to be part of the Men in Black when she grows up, because she feels that there's this entire world of aliens and things that she wants to learn, and she knows that the only way to be a part of that is to be part of the Men in Black. And so she lives to this fable that she tells herself that the Men in Black is real and she wants to join them, and then no one else ever believes her. And of course, she doesn't go around telling people that she wants to join because that will be too obvious. And she's not stupid. She's really smart, literally the smartest person in this film. And she's kind of a know it all, but you can't really hate this kind of know it all because you know that she went through the rough childhood of having to keep this terrible secret and needing to improve herself in any way she can so that she could one day join the Men in Black. And so when she finally finds a way to figure out where the men in black are. She tries to go and like infiltrate them, but the men in black are too smart. They immediately detect her, they grab her, they catch her, and they ask her, "What are you doing here? And how did you find us?" And then she tells the story of how she's been like struggling with this feeling inside her entire life, and then they decide to give her a chance, so they take her into the internship. So we kind of get a good backstory on Agent M's character, and you kind of feel sorry for her for the fact that she had to have that kind of growing up where she literally made sure she had no ties whatsoever. And literally she says that I have no life, and the reason she does all this is because one day if she needs to give everything up in order to be part of the MIB, she was willing to do it from the get-go. So she's a very powerful character in this film, and there's no bullshit feminist propaganda stuff. Don't even come into the comments talking about feminist propaganda, because this is nothing about that whatsoever. This Men in Black film was all about getting the job done. And as long as you're a good agent, it doesn't matter whether you're a man or a woman or whatever alien creature. This film does all of that justice. It doesn't force any stupid propaganda shit. So don't ever come to me again and tell me that, oh, this film is another feminist propaganda, I'm going to downvote it. Just find a deep dark hole, bury yourself in there, and never come out. Okay, because you're just not ready to accept the fact that they are actually having a lead female heroine in a film, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. Okay, so just grow up. All right, moving on. Agent Hitch is played by Chris Hemsworth, and he's apparently this kind of sleazy, very casual, kind of always easygoing hero who is quite good at his job, and he's apparently been a hero who has saved the world from this thing called the Hive. But everyone says that he has changed. He has changed. He's becoming less responsible. He's not as good as he used to be. He's kind of falling out. You can see him like making out with aliens and stuff, and not being very successful in his missions. And this is the kind of backstory we get to him. We don't get to know how he became an agent or anything further than that. So we can only assume that he's been with the organization for quite a while. Quite a while could have been like 5-10 years. He could have been recruited the same way Will Smith was. We don't really know. Moving on, these two kind of get together in a funny situation where she's now a successful intern who hasn't got her first mission yet, and then she realizes that this Agent Hitch doesn't fit the description of a very strong character because he's too easygoing. He's sleeping at work. Then she's wondering how on earth did he manage to save the world. So when she goes to kind of blackmail him for the fact that he was sleeping, he decides to take her out on a mission and show her the ropes. So he takes her out, and these two kind of act as ambassadors for this very powerful alien who's like having fun at a club. So they gotta kind of like accompany him to give him a good time so that he doesn't destroy the world. And then, as it turns out, these two other very powerful aliens, these two guys, show up. Their actual form is terrifying. They look like these cosmic entities with a lot of galaxy-like appearances around them. Really cool looking stuff, and creepy nonetheless. And they get to manipulate a lot of the elements around them. They can manipulate physical elements, and they use this to their advantage to do a lot of attacks. So these two come and intervene, and then Agent M and Hitch are forced to fight them off. But unfortunately, they couldn't save the alien that they were trying to protect, and these two guys managed to kill that alien. So when that powerful alien dies, the one who tried, supposedly was hanging out in the club and having fun, he gives Tessa Thompson a very powerful device in a box. And then she's like, why don't you give this to Agent Hitch? He's been like your good friend, you've known him for very long. And then he says the same thing as everyone else, which is Agent Hitch has changed, and I don't trust the MIB anymore. So she's kind of taken aback by this statement, and she's like, okay. So she keeps the device in her pocket as a secret. So when they eventually go to the headquarters, they meet up with Liam Neeson once again. And Liam Neeson is kind of the one who runs things around here. So he was previously the co-agent together with Agent Hitch. And he's now the superior and is one of the most powerful people in all of MIB. So he runs things, and they finally have to give him like a report after the incident, and then she doesn't want to reveal that she's given this little thing in a box, so she keeps it with herself. So when he kind of agent Hitch gets thrown off the case because the two of them couldn't protect the alien that they were told to accompany, and he dies under their care. So the Men in Black is kind of forced to take action on these two, but because she's an intern, she was forgiven, but he was forced to like drop the case and take a time out. But regardless, he tries to like plead with Liam Neeson, and he gets another chance to go after the case. So he takes Tessa with him, and then they go to investigate. So they find out that the device that was given to her was apparently a very powerful weapon that can literally destroy entire planets. It's like it has like a mini sun inside of it, and it's very powerful to the point where you can just shoot it from anywhere, and it can like literally blow up entire planets or galaxies from a distance. It's a ridiculously OP weapon, probably the most powerful weapon I've ever seen in any film, like ever, besides the Infinity Gauntlet, perhaps. So yeah. They get to know they have this kind of weapon, and then they get to go to this cool desert-like place somewhere in Middle East, I suppose. This is the first time I've seen the Men in Black actually travel this much. Like I've never seen them travel in the other films as much. So this film kind of gives us a nice change of scenery, a change of pace and atmosphere. We get to see more aliens, a lot of unique looking aliens that are definitely new in this film. We get to see a few different new types of weapons, some new interesting looking ones, but not so much in terms of technology. Like you don't get to see, the James Bond stuff where they tell you like, oh, this gadget can do this kind of thing, and then they use it to a very specific purpose or get out of a situation. But we don't get to see that. You just get to see them ride on a really cool bike though, and then the car has that button thing that they always do in every MIB. Everything there is very generic, but we get to see a lot more variety in terms of the aliens itself. And then we get to see this little guy. He's apparently known as a pawn, and they call him Pawnee. And he was a good character. He was an addition to the team. He will join them. He will become Agent M's kind of what do they call it? Become her pawn, and she will become his queen or something like that. And then they have this cool relationship where the three of them go to try to save the world. And to be honest, I was wondering whether he's just going to be there purely for comic relief, but he actually had a good role. He actually helps them fight. He takes responsibility. He even saves Agent M during a very important scene. And he kind of carries himself despite his size. He's actually like the size of like a little how can I put it, I think the easiest way to say is like he's like 3, 4, 5, maybe like a 5, 6 inches tall. That's about his height. And I know what he looks like. Don't get any wrong ideas. He's about 5 inches plus, but he's a really tiny, tiny little alien. But regardless, he carries a lot of the weight as well. And he had a lot of good scenes of the chatting between them. Probably a few wasted scenes of their dialogues. They didn't have very compelling dialogues, but most of their dialogues were very straight to the plot. They had their fun moments, they had their easygoing moments, but regardless, they did carry the plot forward. But they didn't have any very memorable dialogues to the point that like you're going to create memes for the next few years or something like that. They didn't have any of those. And even Liam Neeson being the leader and stuff of the MIB, his dialogues didn't carry that much weight. It was more so to just keep the plot moving kind of thing. This movie focuses a lot more on the action and the visualization of the aliens around you. Just kind of a very light-hearted film kind of thing. So moving on, they eventually figure out that the device gets stolen by a little alien that was hiding somewhere. And then he takes the device to Agent HSX, kind of how can I put it? Girlfriend? I don't know. He used to sleep with this alien apparently, or hang out with her. I don't know how. They were not very detailed with these things, probably because they were very who's watching. But regardless, there's sexual implications of the fact that he used to be with this other alien, and the other alien is played by Rebecca Ferguson, which I didn't expect to be in this film. But regardless, she gets to be a powerful alien character. I mean, she wasn't really necessary, but she gets to do her part in just carrying a little bit of the plot forward. Once again, nothing very like wow or mind-boggling about it. It's just a decent thing to carry the story. And she does her part well. They have a little moment where they're forced to try to steal the weapon back from her, and then she has this very strong bodyguard who's like a very, very strong and powerful alien. And then it turns out that that strong and powerful alien was the little baby alien that once snuck into Agent M's room when she was a child. So Agent M manages to talk that alien to help her, and then they get the weapon back. So they get the weapon back, and then Agent M's life is kind of complete because the reason she became MIB is now kind of fulfilled. She meets up with the same alien that was the reason in the first place. So her character arc is kind of fulfilled. But now the one who we have to fulfill is Agent Hitch, who, despite everyone says is a hero, there's no real character in him that says why he was the one who saved the world. And then as they're trying to figure that out, they get attacked by these two guys again who come for the weapon. And then they say that we will do anything to protect our world. We will even fire this weapon and destroy everything on this island. And then the two of these two aliens also reply that so would we. So what they mean by that is we would do anything as well to protect our world. And then just in time, the Men in Black show up. Liam Neeson shows up with the rest of the Men in Black, and then they capture those two aliens. They say good job, and then everyone is suddenly celebrating. And then all of a sudden there's this uneasy feeling between Agent H and Agent M, where they think that the other two aliens actually said they would do anything as well to protect their world. And what do they mean by that? So they kind of get the idea that the weapon was actually wanted by someone in the Men in Black, so that they could actually destroy the planet of these two extremely powerful aliens. And then they realized that the one who wanted the weapon was actually Liam Neeson. And the reason Agent Hitch couldn't remember, I mean, like Agent Hitch has changed so much, or so they say, was because that night when he went on a mission with Liam Neeson to defeat the swarm, as they call it, he didn't actually defeat them. Agent Hitch memory was wiped with a flash by Liam Neeson himself. So this is a very nice plot twist to the reason why everyone says he's a hero, but he can't remember what happened, because the only thing that he always says is like, me and him defeated the swarm with nothing but our wits and a bunch of weapons or something like that. And they keep repeating this dialogue throughout the film, and they find out the reason he can't remember what really happened was because his memory was wiped, and that's the reason why the story doesn't go any further. So he realizes that his entire heroism was a lie, and Liam Neeson was just making use of him. But regardless, there was a part of him that actually treated him as a son. So Liam Neeson, I think, was originally still an actual human or something, and then he got taken over by an alien, that turns him into like a parasitic body. But I could be wrong. He could have been an alien from the get-go and just still had feelings for Agent Hitch as being a son. So this is the little part of the plot which I didn't really catch on to. You guys can help me out in the comments later. But anyway, they team up together, they defeat the actual alien. They use the ridiculously powerful weapon to blow up him and his planet, which he tries to steal the weapon to go back to. And then despite doing mass destruction, it turns out the MIB are still heroes. And the film kind of comes to an end where the two of them have now actually saved the world, and they're both actually heroes. So now it fulfills Agent Hitch's identity of being the hero he always wanted. And Agent M is fulfilled of her lifelong dream of being part of the MIB. So it comes to a very holistic ending. And then this little guy, Pawnee, actually manages to save his queen in a very important scene, and he gets to fulfill his duty of finally protecting his queen, because in this story what happens is Pawnee actually joins them because Pawnee's original queen gets killed, and he's supposed to kill himself because he feels that he didn't fulfill his duty. So I felt that this movie actually showed us a very holistic story of characters fulfilling their own dreams. Pawnee gets to save his queen. Agent Hitch gets to be the hero he always, was said to be or wanted. And Agent M gets to finally be a real, man in black. And this was nothing to do with what people have been afraid of. Some people were like, oh, it could be feminist propaganda. Oh, it's just a bullshit film. Oh, no Will Smith, no Tommy Lee Jones. These two are completely different characters from Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones. Let me tell you that, okay? Tommy Lee Jones and Will Smith had a very good Men in Black film and a very good film overall. all right, and we cannot compare that head to head with this one because these two characters had their own Men in Black film, their own movie, which was also good. And comparing it to the second and third film, I feel that this was way better because it had a more fulfilling ending. But compared to the first Men in Black film, I would say this one loses out in a few different aspects, which is the thrilling aspect of kind of, because the first one was the one where no one knew what the Men in Black was. So we had that feeling going into it, but we are at like the fourth film. Everyone knows all about the introduction and stuff, so I felt that they really did well to pull it off. So I'm just going to write my rating over here and I'm going to display. Don't freak out. All right, here you go. A 6 out of 10. And trust me, when I give 6 out of 10s, it means that it's a good film. It's not a great film. What I mean by great film is I'm talking like, Spider-Man 2, The Dark Knight. I'm talking Rain Man. I'm talking Top Gun. I'm talking like Mission Impossible. Those are like 7, 8, 9, 10s, around those regions. Titanic, all these kinds of things. So this film is nowhere near those films, but it's definitely better than like most other films in general. All right, this is still an entertaining film to watch, and a film that fulfilled a lot of its criteria. It had a good story, it had a good plot. Its dialogues were very bad. It had only like one character was well developed. The rest of them had poor character development. The visuals throughout the film was good. Nothing wrong with the CGI. The music of the film was very repetitive. It's similar to the old Men in Black. I would have given it a 5 out of 10, but I actually felt that Chris and Tessa Thompson's chemistry together with that little pony guy was actually good. And I take it back. You know what? I will give it a 5, not a 6. Okay, I honestly take it back. I give it a 5 because I remember there's one thing that it did lack, which was the creativity. It showed us a lot of aliens, but in terms of creativity, it didn't really give us anything very new. If it showed us some new form of technology where these two kind of figure out something useful to do with that technology or something really smart, I would have given it a 6. But to be honest, this is a baseline film. This is nowhere near the 23% given by Rotten Tomatoes, and like a 33 out of 10 or 2 out of 10. 2 out of 10 is like 2 out of 10 is like the worst possible. Like 1 out of 10 means don't watch it at all ever. 2 out of 10 is like please don't watch it. But if you end up watching it, you won't die. Like 3 out of 10 is probably the kind of film that I would say you can watch it if your life is over and you have nothing else to do, no other films to watch. But this is not that. This is a film that if it comes out on TV, I would watch it. It's not a bad film. It's not a good film. Like, it's not a film that you could say, oh, it's a good movie, go and watch it. But this is the kind of movie that's literally in between that, and it doesn't deserve its negative, like all out negative reviews. So I'm really confused with the way they're rating film these days, and I don't really understand. And if you guys want to know how I rate films, because I mentioned to you stuff like visuals, I mentioned to you stuff like music, stuff like character. You guys must be wondering, what on earth is he talking about? I have a link in the description that I'll leave to you guys on how I actually, gather these points to rate a film. And I initially gave it an extra point for creativity, but I kind of take it back because we have seen most of these things in the other Men in Blacks. The only different thing they actually showed is new aliens in the background, which is more of a atmosphere thing. So the point goes to the atmosphere of this film rather than its creative aspect. And in a lot of other things, it loses out. It had a plot. It had a good plot, but its execution of the plot was very bad. In terms of the way they made the characters make decisions in order to get the plot flowing was very poor. I felt that it was not really good in that sense. So yeah, that's my opinion of the film. You guys should watch this film if you really want to know for yourself. Don't believe in trash reviews. This is not so bad. But honestly, if you do feel that this movie is really bad and all that, fine, by all means, that's your opinion. This is mine. And as for those guys who felt that this was actually a very good film, well, I'm glad you enjoyed it because I'm honestly quite taken aback by the negative reviews. It doesn't deserve it. Same goes for Godzilla. Godzilla got a lot of mixed negative and positive reviews, and you guys can check out my Godzilla review. Godzilla's a good film. It is a good monster movie. Go and watch Godzilla, guys. Seriously. As for this one, if you want to watch it, go ahead. If you don't want to watch it, that's fine because it's literally an in-between movie for me. But if it comes out on TV, go ahead and watch it. It's not bad. Like you could check this out eventually. So yeah, that's my idea on this, and I'm going to be digging up on more of this controversy on film ratings because I honestly believe someone is being paid to rate all of these films really badly, and I need to know why. Like, what on earth is going on? Because I'm giving reviews, and people are like, "Oh no, but your review doesn't make sense because other people gave this kind of review." So we're kind of having that herd mind thing going on, I feel. And I feel that a lot of reviews are being affected by other people's reviews. Like, because someone said this, oh, I have to agree with him because he knows better. I mean, like, seriously, guys, start thinking for yourselves. All right, start thinking for yourselves. And I really appreciate a lot of those who come to my comments, and whether you agree or disagree, I'm sometimes really glad to see that you have your own opinions about it, and you're strongly opinionated with your own idea, and you have a reason to why you say that, which is what I'm really glad to hear. As for those of you who come and say, oh no, your review is trash, and I don't know why, but it's just trash because I say so, no, that's stupid, straight up. Okay, you need to have a reason to back yourself up. And I really appreciate those that understand that, whether or not you agree or disagree with me, that you have your own stand, you have your own reason, you have your own belief. And this is the thing that I appreciate the most, because that's an honest review. And if we get more honest reviews, we may actually see that not all films are as bad as they say. And that's when we get these top 10 underrated films, you know? When they say underrated, like, who underrated them if they are good films in the first place? So we gotta start to, I think, have another look at films. And you guys can check out my opinions and reviews video. I will leave a link for that. So try to see if you guys have something similar to that. I really want to know how you guys rate your films. Whether it's just straight up a 10 out of 10 based on, oh, I enjoyed it, 10 out of 10. Or I didn't like it, 2 out of 10, 3 out of 10. Or does it actually have a breakdown the way I break things down? So I'm not going to display my breakdown here because it's very detailed. You guys can check out the video for it. But I have it with me in like my own notepad on the site. And I have points based on things that I saw in this film. So I give like half points for certain things, 1 or 2 points for certain things. And that's how I came to this 5 out of 10. So yeah, that's the general idea. I just want to leave it out there that I want you guys to have your own brains, and that's very important for everyone. So yeah, it's not a bad movie. It's not a bad movie at all. And that's about it from me. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I really want to hear what on earth is happening out there in the world today. And I watched a few other films as well. I'm going to come up with reviews for that eventually. But yeah, thanks for watching. Adios.